Hey everybody, Dr. Mary Renzel here, talking to you about distractions. How distracted do you feel during your work week? It's bad, right? So many distractions. Let's talk about three important facts about distractions, okay? Guess what? Distractions make us feel unhappy. That was so interesting. So there's a great book by Dr. Sonia Lubomirsky called The Myths of Happiness. And she talks about what should make you happy, but doesn't, and what shouldn't make you happy, but does. And it turns out distractions make us unhappy, according to her research. So she's a PhD psychology researcher, worked for decades and decades to try to figure out this distraction thing. Well, guess what? Distractions make us unhappy. Okay, so what about if this week, if you tried number one, to do an assessment of your distractions? So sometimes it feels like everything's open. Like if your brain was a house, all the windows and doors are open and everyone has access to us, right? So who are we sharing our attention and our focus with? That's a big question. So in this week ahead, think about it. Who do you give your attention to? Are they important to you? Are they your priority? And then, of course, phones, of course, they take all of our attention and energy, don't they? They want it. So this economy is something called attention economy. And people are after our attention. People are paid to try to grab our attention. And guess what? They know something about brains and dopamine. So they know if they keep sending us colorful messages with a little bit of a prize once in a while, a little bit of a surprise once in a while, we'll stay on that phone and we'll keep scrolling and scrolling because the brain likes a little surprise, some color, something happy, something intriguing. And they'll keep changing it over time. So you stay on your phone. Who else is getting your attention? Who else just gets all of your attention whenever they want it? It's something to think about. So this week ahead, think about who do you let have your attention? Imagine that you start your day with $1 worth of attention and you wake up, open your eyes, and you go on your phone. That means you already gave 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents away of your attention because you woke up just sharing, letting people in and giving your focus already. Okay, so then the rest of the day, people are asking you questions. They're able to call you whenever they want. They're able to just, get your attention whenever they want. And the phone is always there, just calling and making noise. And it's also to grabbing your attention. So you're down to about 50 cents and it's only 10 a.m. Okay, so we have to think about our attention as valuable, right? It's our value of the day. What do we give our focus to all day long? Okay. The brain only has so much attention. So we have to share it with those who are important to us. We can't let just anybody in, right? So this week, think about your focus, your attention as $1. If you want to think about it like $10,000, and then who are you sharing it with throughout the day? And how much do you have left at the end of the day? And then how do you replace it? How do you recharge throughout the day? There's ways to kind of re-nourish the brain. Like, how can we give the brain some rest throughout the day so it can build up its ability to focus again? Well, believe it or not, our emotions play a big role in how productive we are at work, our emotional setting. So, are we feeling happy? Are we feeling sad? Are we feeling frustrated? Are we feeling mad? Because we want to, according to another researcher who wrote a book called Love 2.0, meaning like our connections with others are actually so valuable. It's like love. Like we think of love as like the ultimate emotion, but our connections with other kind of fill up our tank. And our emotional setting matters. And Dr. Erickson is the author of that book, and she says we want to keep ourselves in a positive setting throughout the day, but all day long we'll have negative emotions, positive emotions, negative emotions, positive emotions. But throughout the day, we want to try to rebalance and give ourselves more positive emotions. She suggests 3 to 1 positive over negative emotions. So how do we push ourselves over to the positive setting throughout the day? Connections matter. So especially if they're renewing connections, it's connections that we enjoy with others. Um, putting ourselves into positive emotions. We can also use gratitude. We think of somebody that really helped us that day. We look for somebody acting kind this day. We look for a beautiful pattern. I like to look for beautiful patterns in nature because that helps to build up my positive emotional balance. Okay. So there's things we can do to help our focus. We can block out things that are not important to us. we can just assess, like, what are we wasting our focus on? Like, who are we sharing with it throughout our day? Because let's say it's worth $10,000. Okay, I just went from a dollar to 10,000. It's very valuable. It's all we have. And it's an attention economy, and people are after us. They want our attention. And we need to do a bit of a distraction assessment throughout our week this week and just say, who am I giving my attention to? Is that important to us? Is that my priority for the week? And if not, just lock it out. Look at your phone. What's your screen time this week? Mine can be very high. Okay. So and take your magic wand and just like, let's just magic wand it and just say, hey, you're not allowed in. I'm just going to only let people in that are important to me. And just imagine how that will feel with your magic wand. Imagine that you only have people in your life that you really want to be there, that you don't let anybody in that's not important to you. Okay? Take your magic wand and imagine that. That is what we need to do. We need to lock out things that are not important to us. Your brain has a particular pattern of being really good at something, and this world needs you at your full level so you can solve problems that we have in these communities of ours by using all your brain's gifts. So we need to lock out what's not important to us so that your brain can, as they say, noodle on how to solve these problems, how to support people in your community and your family and your friend group so that they can live in their most, highest self. So we need to lock out and just know that as an attention economy, people are getting paid. That's their whole job to try to grab our attention. So we have to lock out what's not important to us and be careful that $10,000 worth of attention, our focus, and who we share it with throughout our workday, and make sure that we're able to live fully in our gifts. Okay. So distraction is unhappiness, is what these researchers tell us. So we don't have to waste time and figure that out for ourselves. We know when we're feeling unhappy, maybe we're distracted. Who are we letting in? Who is stealing our attention and our focus? And who can we just lock those doors and windows and don't let them in and just focus on what's really important to us? So this week, think about, who are you letting in? Who are you letting into your focus level, your $10,000 focus? It's so valuable. It's all we have is our attention and our focus. And if we fully live in our strengths and our focus is just on what's important to us and what we're really good at, wouldn't that be amazing? We could just have this ripple of positivity around the world. And these researchers tell us that if we stay in positive emotions where we feel creative, we feel empowered, we feel hopeful, we're living in our gifts. Oh my gosh, it's just going to ripple around the world because you're going to feel positive and emotions are contagious. So if you feel hopeful, the person around you that day is also going to feel hopeful. Okay, so make sure you're locking out distractions that are not important to you and letting in ones that are important to you and letting in people into your world that are important to you, that are helping you live fully in your gifts and your strengths. Being distracted feels unhappy. That's what Dr. Lubomirsky says. Okay, and another great researcher says, when we're not in our positive emotions, 3-to-1 throughout our day, 3-to-1 positive, that's not our optimal state. So we have to learn how to put ourselves in a positive state, take little breaks throughout the day to recharge our emotional levels, see where we are, and then recharge it with positive emotional states. If you have a furry animal, that helps. If you have a really supportive friend, that helps. If you have a picture of someone you love, if you have a memory of someone that really helped you. So those help us lean back into that positive state so that we can live fully in our gifts, in our high perceptive state, so we can solve problems. So this week, think about how you can lock out distractions. Start with your phone. Usually that's number one culprit. But there's other areas where people are grabbing your attention. It's an attention economy. People are after your attention. It's valuable. So treat it like that. Like you wouldn't just hand out $1,000 every hour and just hand it away, right? I want you to live fully in your strengths. I love helping people figure out how to learn more about their brain, how to nourish it, how to live fully in your strengths so you can solve all the problems around the globe, right? If you live fully in your strengths, you're going to connect to your special abilities and you're going to spread hope around those, that are close to you. because emotions are contagious. So if you're hopeful, you can live fully in your strengths and help others, and you're going to solve those big and small problems, then others around you will feel that way. So it's really important not to let people in. That's not important to us, to lock out those distractions so you can live fully in your gifts and your strengths. All right, you got this. Just DM me any questions you have about attention and focus. But distraction is unhappiness, according to the researchers. So why not listen to them? You got this. I believe in you and your amazing brain.